Hello everyone, I welcome you all in another session of Anjan Tutorials. Today we will discuss some of the important literary terms which have been frequently asked in different exams like CUET-PG, UGC NET, JRF and different set exams. Without further delay, let's begin the class. The first term today we will discuss is allegory. Allegory is a narrative in a prose or verse in which a situation, a event or a place is represented to give a moral and political lessons. Allegories are two types, political allegory and religious allegory. And what are the famous examples of allegories in English literature are Everyman. Every Man is a medieval morality play which is written in the form of an allegory. After that comes Edmund Spenser's The Fairy Queen. Edmund Spenser's The Fairy Queen, which is written in 1590. In this work, Edmund Spenser allegorically represented the six virtues of King Arthur's court. Next comes John Bunyan's The Pilgrim Progress. John Bunyan's The Pilgrim Progress, which is published in 1678, is an example of religious allegory in which, in order to escape the city of destruction, the Christian leaves the city and started his journey towards the celestial city. And in his way, he met different characters like faithful, hopeful, vanity fair, and giant despair. After that comes John Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel. John Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel is an example of political allegory which is written in 1681. In this work, John Dryden allegorizes the reign of King Charles II. Next term is ballad. Ballad is a song transmitted orally by the literate or partially literate persons, and it is the species of a folk song. And what are the significant ballads in English literature are Bishop Thomas Parcy's Relics of Ancient English Poetry, which is published in 1765, Francis J. Child's English and Scottish Popular Ballad, and S.T. Coleridge's The Rime of Ancient Mariner, which is published in 1798. In this work, S.T. Coleridge mourns the death of a bird named Albatross, and Walter Scott's Prout Macy is also an example of famous allegory. Next comes John Keats's Les Belles Dames sans Mercy. John Keats's Les Belles Dames sans Mercy, which is published in 1819, and in this work he allegorizes the mythical elements. And the third term today we'll discuss is blank verse. Blank verse is a poetic stanza which is written in iambic pentameter without any rhyme scheme. And it is Earl of Surrey who introduced this form in his translation of Virgil's Aeneid Book 2 and Book 4. And some of the famous works which is written in blank verse in English literature are John Milton's Paradise Lost, which is published in 1667, Robert Browning's The Ring and the Book, 1868. Next comes T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, which is published in 1922, in which Eliot mourns the loss of faith in modern time. This is an also example of blank verse work. After comes Alfred Tennyson's Tears, Ideal Tears. The fourth term today we'll discuss is comedy. Comedy is a genre in which a humorous or amusing incident is represented in a stage, event, film, or a comic representation. There are different kind of comedies like romantic comedies, satire comedy, comedy of manners, restoration comedy, and comedy of humors. The first romantic comedy, it was invented in the Elizabethan age by the famous playwright dramatist William Shakespeare, who in his work As You Like It the started this romantic comedy genre. Next comes satire comedy. Satire comedy is a comedy in which the social aspect of different issues are satirized in a comic manner. And it was Ben Jonson who wrote in this genre in his works like Falcone, The Fox. After comes comedy of manners. Comedy of manners is a genre in which the manners of aristocratic society are presented in a comic manner, like the work of Francis Burney. Next comes restoration comedy. Restoration comedy is a comedy in which the trivial aspects of society are presented in the works of like John Etheridge, William Vanbrugh, William Wycherley. Next come comedy of humors. Comedy of humors is a genre of comedy in which the humors of human life is presented, like works of Ben Jonson, which depicted the four humors of human life. After that comes dissociation of sensibility. Dissociation of sensibility is a term introduced by T.S. Eliot in his work The Metaphysical Poet in 1921. And in this work, he compared the metaphysical poets like John Donne and other metaphysical poets with the Elizabethan dramatists and writers, and says that the metaphysical poet possessed a mechanism of sensibility which could divert any kind of experience. Metaphysical poets possessed a strong quality in which they can devote or they can destroy any other works. And he also compared metaphysical poets with the order of a rose. They are thought as immediate as the order of a rose. And it was T.S. Eliot who says that metaphysical poets are inspired by John Donne, John Milton, and other 17th century writers. And this was our literary term discussion in which we have discussed different literary terms which have been asked in different exams. So those of you are preparing for CUET-PG and UGC NET JRF 2026, don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel to get more UGC NET related study materials and classes. Thank you everyone.